First of all, I have to give a huge thank you to vocalbooth2go.com for supporting this video and sending me the blankets for the studio. I learned about these blankets while I was in the process of moving. I knew I wanted to do something different than my old studio, and this just made the most sense. When I contacted them about the blankets, asking about how efficient they are, how easy are they to mount, how do you even mount them on the walls, what do you do about light switches, they were super helpful and, guided me through this whole process. They answered all my stupid questions. I even sent them the super basic rough sketch of the studio, which is not at all drawn to scale, and they told me exactly what I needed and how exactly to do everything. So again, they're super helpful and super nice about everything, and if you're interested in checking out any of their products, they sell more than just sound blankets, then definitely check out the link in the description. You've been watching me mount these 2x4s onto the wall, and the reason for that is you want the blanket spaced off against the wall so there's a gap of air. The people at Vocal Booth To Go said to space these 3 inches off the wall, and you'll see that I'm only using a 2x4, so they're being spaced 1.5 inches off the wall, which I think for me will be just fine. I didn't want to close off this room anymore, it's pretty small as it is, so bumping it out another 1.5 inches would be, I think, a little bit tight. But if you're going to do this at your own space and want to bump it out 3 inches, the easiest way would be to just use 2 2x4s because they're 1.5 inches deep, and 1.5 inches plus 1.5 inches is 3 inches, so that's the easiest and cheapest way to do it probably. And the reason for spacing it off the wall to begin with is air is actually an insulator, so instead of just having 2 layers of insulation, the blanket and then the wall, we have the blanket, a gap of air, and then the wall. So we have 3 now. As of now, I can no longer use this door. So the way I'm mounting these blankets to the wall is just with some cheap drywall screws and some fender washers. When I got the washers, I bought 4 30 packs thinking, oh, this will be plenty, I'll have, some left over, but you'll see I used every single one. So knowing me, this seam is really going to annoy me, so I think I'm just going to try to tape it together. It's not completely gone, but it's definitely better, so I'll definitely do that on the other side. So a little bit about these blankets. First of all, they are insanely heavy. When you lift up one that's folded up, you're like, oh, this is nothing. But then when you unravel it and hang it on the wall, you realize how heavy they actually are. It's really dusty in here. And this is a cross section of the blanket. This is from one of the grommet holes, but you can see how many layers of material are inside of this thing, which is really good because to block sound you need mass, and these blankets definitely have a lot of mass. The blankets are 6 feet wide by 8 foot tall, and you can see up top they have grommets to make mounting them super easy, but if for some reason you don't need the grommets, they come without grommets too. You'll also see that mine are black on black, meaning that the stitching is black and the blanket is black, but they also make it with white stitching if that's what you're into. This is the wall that faces my neighbor's house, and just to be safe, I'm adding another layer of the blankets. So it's the exact same process as before. I'm putting the 2x4 up against the ceiling and then screwing the blanket to that. this is the last washer I have. My battery is seriously about to die on this. And there's one more thing I need to screw in. One more screw to screw in. Let's see if I can make it. If that battery lasted another 5 seconds, I would have been done. But I didn't want to miss this glorious moment. So this is the last screw and the last blanket. And that's it. Now that they're up, you're probably wondering, well, how well do they actually work? To answer that, I got this cheap decibel meter and chose a few locations to get some readings from with and without the blankets. So the first spot is right behind this wall in the other room, and the second spot is behind that wall outside of the house, which is the side that my neighbor's on. I also wanted to see how these blankets affected the acoustics of the room, so I mic'd up the kit and did a comparison with and without the blankets. And last, I wanted to see how well they block sound coming into the studio, and the only way I could think of getting a repeatable test was to make it pass with my lawnmower with the meter inside of the studio. So my honest opinion of these blankets is I like them. So first, the test I did right outside of the studio in this other room right here. Going off the highest reading of the meter, the blankets reduced the sound by about 10 decibels. And like I said during the test, this door does not have any blankets on it, and it's just a cheap hollow core door. So when it comes to any sort of sound insulation, this is probably the worst thing to have. And if I go in here and shut these lights off, you can see how well this door is actually sealed, or not sealed I should say. So there's definitely a lot of sound leaking out of this door. So I guarantee if I had blankets on this door, the sound from the test out there would be much lower. And then the test I'm most happy about is this wall, which again is the one next to my neighbor's house, and the double layer of blankets definitely did the trick. And third was the room acoustics test, and you can definitely hear there's a huge difference. I'm really happy with the sound I'm getting now with the blankets, and as I mentioned during the demo, I did not do any mixing to the audio. All I did was pan the overheads and the toms. And yes, the snare was kinda choked and really dry, but I can easily fix that with some tuning. And then the last test my backyard is behind this wall, and there's still this goofy window here which is exposed. So all I did was shove a blanket in there, like a regular household blanket, and then put that foam up just to make it look halfway decent. But again, I guarantee a lot of the sound leakage is coming from that spot. So again, I have to give a huge thank you to vocalbooth2go.com for sending me these blankets, and hopefully this video has helped you guys, because I've gotten so many questions about, you know, how do I reduce the sound of my drums? My neighbors hate me, what do I do? I'm tired of playing on a practice bed. I don't want to buy an electronic kit, but my neighbors hate me. I can't play my drums, what do I do? And installing these blankets is definitely something anyone can do. So again, just my first impression, I'm very happy with these blankets, and they will definitely stay up the lifespan of the studio. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, or you can contact Vocal Booth to Go, and they'll definitely help you out. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.